Hi, how you doing today, guys? I'm William Myers, and today we're going to show you a video about how to collect and disinfect your water. Stay tuned. Okay, so we've located a reliable source of water. Now, we're not going to just want to dip our cup in there and start drinking. There's things from animal feces and stuff like that, like Cryptosporidium, E. coli, even Giardia, so on and so on. 9 times out of 10, if you have, especially if you're having a struggling immune system, maybe if you're elderly or very young, things like that, or if you have some other ailments wrong with you, then you really got to worry about these. You take a 50-50 shot. You know, if you have a regular immune system, basically you're flipping the coin on it if you're going to get sick or not. Obviously, if you're in a situation where you've hurt yourself, you have a mechanical injury of some kind, and you're not able to return to your campsite, and you've located water, I wouldn't worry at that point about boiling it. If you left a good plan, you think you're pretty safe, you're going to be found within 72 hours or so, go ahead and drink the water. The incubation period of Cryptosporidium, Giardia, the big boys you got to worry about, is usually about 48 to 72 hours. So at that point, I would just go ahead and drink the water. But other than that, we're going to show you how to collect the water, and we're going to go through the processes of chemical purification, or disinfection, and boiling to disinfect our water as well. So first off, what we're going to do is, what I like to do is I don't like just to dip my cup in there and get water, because I'm trying to eliminate turbidity. And what turbidity is particulate matter in my water. Now that's important, especially if I'm using chemical disinfection, is because things like, especially chlorine, it can bind with that turbidity, and viruses and protozoas and cysts and stuff like that can actually hide inside that turbidity, which makes it almost impossible to kill them at that point, unless you're boiling. So if I'm using a chemical treatment, and even if I'm boiling, I don't want a bunch of dirt in my water anyways, but especially if I'm using a chemical disinfection method, I'm going to want to use kind of a pre-filter. So first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to gather my water. Now, I've drank from this source before. Now what we're doing right here is, I got a clear Nalgene bottle so I can show you the water as it's in here. It's not what I could carry, and I'll tell you why, the reason why for that as well. What I'm doing right now is I'm basically building a pre-filter, something to kind of knock back that turbidity, and all I'm using is grass and a cotton bandana at this point. And this is just kind of priming the filter, getting that cotton wet. Once it does, it falls a lot faster. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to finish filling this bottle up, and we'll get right back to you. Alright, we're back. We've got this bottle filled as much as we need it to be filled. Now what I wanted to talk to you about, obviously you can see this water is pretty clear, it's not bad. Maybe a little bit of cloudiness in it, and that's what we're really talking about, is the cloudiness. Obviously, if you can see particulate matter rolling around in there, that's not good either. But depending on how cloudy your water is, if you're using any kind of a chemical treatment like 2% tincture of iodine, which I always carry on me, not only if I didn't have something to boil in, it's a water disinfection. It's also good for first aid as well, so it's something I always keep in my pack. But if you're using something like 2% iodine, 2% tincture of iodine, excuse me, and your water is really cloudy and extremely cold as well, you're going to want to wait longer in your disinfection. So we're going to explain that as well. So the CDC suggests that if you are chemically treating your water with 2% tincture of iodine, per 32-ounce bottle or US 1 quart, you use 5 drops to 10 drops. Now what that means, why is it 5 to 10? So if the water temperature was, say, a good 60, 65 degrees, normal kind of lukewarm water, 5 drops. If it was clear, I would just throw 5 drops in here, wait about a half hour, 45 minutes, and start drinking, no big deal. Alright, so because this water has a little bit of turbidity in it and it's colder than, like, say, a lukewarm, normal summer day, I'm going to want to put more like 8 to 10 drops in here instead of 5 drops. And then I'm going to let it sit for a half hour and shake it. And I'm going to do that every half hour for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, depending on that. And then I think, in my opinion, it would be safe to drink at that point. And why is that? Well, the reason for that is you're really wanting to kill the Giardia and anything that we can at that point. It takes longer at colder temperatures, and like I said, the more turbidity that's in your water, it can take longer for the iodine to reach. As far as this taste, you're going to want to pack something maybe that will cover up the taste. It has a horrible taste in my opinion. I really can't stand the taste of 2% tincture of iodine, but hey, you got to do what you got to do, right? So that being said, this is not my favorite method of disinfecting water. My favorite method of disinfecting water, and which is the only, in my opinion, 100% way to make sure that your water is 100% disinfected of all cyst, which cryptosporidium, it's about 98.9% effective. So I mean, those knowing my luck, I'd be that 0.01% that gets cryptosporidium, but I haven't so far. Lucky stars and all that stuff, right? So a metal stainless steel container, titanium, what have you. Boiling your water is the only 100% way to make sure all viruses, protozoas, bacterias, cysts, all that stuff is out of your water. And a lot of the questions that I get on my Facebook and such like that is, how long do you boil your water? I've heard that you got to boil your water for a minute. I've heard you got to boil it for 10 minutes and then let it stand and then drink it. Okay, the CDC says pasteurization of your water begins at 160 to 166 degrees. After that, you need, from the time it takes to reach pasteurization to boiling temperature, you have enough time that you've killed everything. As soon as your water starts boiling, you've killed everything that's in there if you're at sea level. If you're at higher elevations, your water boils at a lower temperature, therefore I would let it boil for a little bit longer, maybe a minute or so, depending on how high in elevation you are. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to treat this water here chemically. Alright, so we're adding our drops into here. And if you go to like Walgreens or wherever you're going to go to get your tinctures of iodine, you'll see that there is a clear tincture of iodine as well as a colored. I always get the colored because, one, it's so much easier to see the drops actually going in there. You don't want to miss one, miscount, and that and that. But honestly, to tell you the truth, in my opinion, it almost seems like there's more alcohol in that clear than there is in this. And that really messes with me, man. I can't stand that. I can't stand the taste of this at all anyway. But like I said, you got to do what you got to do. So we've got 5 drops in here. Let's go ahead and go with 8. Like I said, stuff's a little on the cold side. Ooh, almost missed that one. There's 8. There's one hanging on. 9 for good measure. Alright. So we got our drops of iodine in here, and what we're going to do is just going to give that a nice shake. There we go. Then we're going to let this sit for about a half hour. I'm going to shake it again. Let it sit for a half hour more. I'll make a judgment call at that point whether I'm going to drink it or not, and if not, I'll shake it again, let it sit for another half hour. Don't go away. Alright, so actually it's been around 45 minutes. We got busy doing some other things, but I'm going to go ahead and give this a shake right now. I'm going to let this sit for about another hour, a half hour, 45 minutes. Alright, so it's been about an hour and 45 minutes since we originally put the drops in here. So we're going to go ahead and give this a smell, see if I can't vomit on camera. Yeah, this has an iodine taste. Go ahead and
It does taste a lot like iodine. Not a really big deal. Like I said, you got to do what you got to do, right? The important part is that you don't turn your butt into a Power Wagner and start spraying everything. So that can lead to dehydration and other problems. The cameraman is laughing hysterically right now at the moment. So this has just been a video about how to gather your water and pre-filter it and disinfect it. Boiling, like I said, is the best method, and at sea level, just a reminder, as soon as your water starts boiling, you're safe to drink at that moment. Obviously, if you want to cool it down, then. Remember, anything that you use to collect your water with, I collected water with this. This needs disinfected as well. Putting this in the fire, it would take care of that. But this has been William Myers. Thanks for viewing my channel. Hitting subscribe and the like button really helps me out a lot. I appreciate all the comments, even if they're bad. It just helps me gear the channel the way that it needs to be. Thank you again.